Donald Trump is spinning out of control on Monday morning as he has returned to Washington, D.C., hiding from the American people over the weekend on the taxpayer dime. It's been post after post, weird memes he's posting, like this one right here of Chris Farley, late comedian, yelling into the ear of Pam Bondi, his attorney general, saying, "For the love of God, just arrest somebody." And then Trump says, "Christopher Wray lied!" Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, referring to his former FBI director. So I guess this is how Donald Trump is communicating to his attorney general to arrest his former FBI director, Christopher Wray, after currently prosecuting another former FBI director, James Comey, through Chris Farley memes. Donald Trump is also posting like a bingo card with an X over James Comey's face and the faces of other individuals that Donald Trump wants his Department of Justice to indict, and it's Donald Trump's political enemies, and that's what he's posting as well. He goes, "Obama's Russia hoax treason club." This is what Donald Trump is reposting this morning. He also says, "We must keep the majority in Congress at all costs. Republicans must fight back." And he blames a rigged census in 2020 on something. I mean, he was in office in 2020, so he's blaming his own 2020 census, which he also prematurely cut off during COVID. He goes, "I will be strongly endorsing against any state senator or House member from the great state of Indiana that votes against the Republican Party and our nation by not allowing for redistricting for congressional seats in the United States House of Representatives, as every other state in our nation is doing." And he goes, "At all costs, we must keep the majority." And again, Donald Trump, I said it over and over again, doesn't want there to be elections anymore. I mean, he wants to send his Gestapo, his ICE agents, his Border Patrol, National Guard, I think, to block elections in the future. And I think Donald Trump right now is scared and pissed that Democrats have stood up to his unlawful gerrymandering scheme, as we saw with Prop 50 in California. And Indiana saw the results of the midterm elections. They know the results that could be coming of the midterm elections. They saw the results of the elections earlier this week, where you had a number of candidates underperform in ways that they didn't expect, and Democrats overperforming. So they don't want to touch this gerrymandering at all right now. And they're just like, no, we're not doing it. Donald Trump's posting, "It was just revealed that the FBI had secretly placed against all rules, regulations, protocols, and standards 274 FBI agents into the crowd just prior to and during the January 6th hoax." So not only is he referring to Jeffrey Epstein's child sex trafficking ring again as a hoax, he's now referring to January 6th again as a hoax, and he is spreading more demented lies about the FBI being behind the January 6th insurrection that Donald Trump led to try to overthrow free and fair elections. I mean, how despicable can you be? This is what Donald Trump is posting this morning. Again, he's pardoned all the insurrectionists. Not only that, but Donald Trump is also pardoning the insurrectionists for crimes not relating to the insurrection. So like gun-related crimes and threats to the FBI. Also, let me just be very clear. Just like with the census, Donald Trump was in office during January 6th, so he blames his own FBI director and his own people, it's just so utterly ridiculous. But Donald Trump was hit with an order that he and his handpicked prosecutor, Lindsey Halligan, his former personal attorney, should be very nervous of. A federal magistrate judge in Virginia found that, it seems, Lindsey Halligan in the James Comey indictment provided the grand jury with false instructions, with misstatements of law that could have led to the indictment of James Comey. Also, the magistrate judge, in reviewing the grand jury transcript, also doesn't believe Lindsey Halligan that she provided the full grand jury transcript. And the magistrate judge says it's impossible that you provided the full grand jury transcript because originally you had problems with the first indictment that you presented, so you had to go back and print a second copy of the indictment. So what did you hand this grand jury? Because the grand jury did not agree to the first document you gave them. You came back with a second document. So how are you saying that there is no further transcript when you came back to the grand jury. The judge says that simply makes no sense. The judge describes a disturbing pattern of profound investigative missteps and ordered that the grand jury material be turned over to James Comey and James Comey's lawyer as a result of what the judge has reviewed. This is terrible news from the Trump regime. Lindsay Halligan's bar license is deeply, deeply in jeopardy right now. This is exactly what we predicted was going to happen many weeks ago when the indictment was first handed down. So Donald Trump is also sending his stooges, like his national economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, to make the rounds on the various network shows today. Kevin Hassett says, yeah, the job market's bad. We're experiencing lots of job losses. The economy's doing bad. I kid you not. This is a direct quote from Kevin Hassett. We're in a little bit of almost quiet time in the labor market. They're referring to this as quiet time in the labor market. Here, listen to it for yourself. Play this clip.
Last CPI report we got surprised 48 Bloomberg economists on the downside, and even had some sort of temporary bad news because there was a refinery that was shut down, if you're looking at the top line number. I think that there have been mixed signals in the job market and really, really positive signals in the output markets. As you know, we've got GDP now running close to 4%. We've got productivity running up around 3%. And so I think that there could be a little bit of almost a quiet time in the labor market because firms are finding that AI is making their workers so productive that they don't necessarily have to hire the new kids out of college and so on. But because there's so much output growth and income growth, that's the kind of thing that, you know, a free market will work out relatively quickly as, you know, new ways to spend money emerge.
Donald Trump surrogates like MAGA Republican Congress member Keith Self saying the economy's booming, everyone's doing great. He claims that Fox says that the economy is doing incredible and that prices are much lower. Again, we all know that this is entirely false and that this propaganda is just so ridiculous as to shock the conscience. Here, play this clip.
Because if you saw Fox News just recently, groceries, gas, inflation in general is down under President Trump. Now, the mainstream media won't tell you that, but those are the actual numbers. We just have to get the American people understanding that things are better off and are going to continue to get better because of the one big beautiful bill that kicks in 1 January. Going forward, things are going to be better. People are going to feel better, and we're going to get this country back on track.
Yeah. I mean, you go to, like you said, you go to the grocery store, you go to the pump, prices are definitely lower.
More from Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's national economic advisor. He's on CNBC with Joe Kernan. And even Joe Kernan's like, so I'm just trying to understand. Kernan's full MAGA on CNBC. And he's speaking to Hassett and he's like, so I'm just trying to understand this. So you're reversing the tariffs on certain goods and products. So isn't that an acknowledgement that the tariffs made things more expensive? Watch this, play this clip.
The whole issue of tariffs, if we're reversing some tariffs to try to help affordability, isn't that acknowledging that that tariffs were responsible for some of the higher prices and for some of the inflation that is still a problem?
Well, first, this is nothing new. If you go through all of the trade deals that we've been doing all the way through, then there have been things that we decided it was prudent based on the economics of supply and demand to exempt. And one of those things that we've been exempting all along is something that we don't make in the U.S., we'll never make in the U.S., or almost never. I know that in Hawaii they make some coffee. And so onshoring that production really doesn't make sense. It's not part of our strategy. And what the president just did with food is decide to make like a blanket movement so that we weren't going through each deal and picking this and that.
More from Kevin Hassett here. Kernan, again, the MAGA CNBC host, goes, you know, don't you think it's not helpful when Trump keeps saying that prices are falling and people know that they're going up? Like, we know inflation is rising right now. It's 3% more now than it was under former President Biden. So why do you keep saying that it's going down? Like, people don't believe you. Here, play this clip.
But when you keep saying prices are falling, that's not true, because inflation is still, the 3% is on top of all the inflation we had during the Biden years. So we got all that inflation plus an additional 3%. And we should, I think you should admit that.
A more precise way to say it, though, Joe, is that purchasing power has gone up. And so real wages, that's W divided by P for our technical people of the audience, have gone up by about $1,200 this year. So the way to think about it is that we've dug a $3,000 hole because of Biden policies, and we've gained $1,200 on the way out already, which should give you a great deal of hope for the future that the wage increases that we're seeing will continue. And even if inflation stays positive, make it so that people feel way better when they go to the grocery store and to buy a car. We've reduced the cost of buying a car with the deductibility of interest. I mean, there's a million things that we're doing to fix this problem, but it's just kind of astonishing to me that the cost problem is somehow being blamed on us.
Now, I think this is really important for me to bring this up. The Medicare annual enrollment period is here. This is the time to compare your options. If you don't, your costs could go up, your coverage could change, or your plan could disappear entirely. So listen up. That's why I recommend you reach out to our partners, Chapter. They're the only advisors who look at every single plan in the country and provide honest advice to Americans on Medicare. It's why we work with them at the MeidasTouch Network. In under 20 minutes, they can see if you're already on the best plan for your needs. If you are, they'll tell you. If not, they'll help you switch for free. They've already helped many members of the MeidasTouch community, and they can help you too. Don't get duped by brokers who are pushing the plans that pay them the biggest kickbacks. And don't wait until December to figure out your plan for next year. Call Chapter today at 82 Medicare. That's 82 Medicare, and get honest advice today. Give them a call and let me know how it goes in the comments below. I know the Meidas Mighty have been very happy with the results. Then Trump sends out Brooke Rollins, his agriculture secretary, who says the reason that we're likely to have $10 a pound beef coming soon is because of former President Biden. I want to blame Biden. Play this clip.
From the CEO of Omaha Steaks. What is meat going for right now? $4 or $5 a pound? He's talking about $10.
Well, that's right. And I sure look forward to talking to him. I saw him on your show. We had it on in the office on Friday. I thought he was very well spoken. I do believe, though, that his forecast is not going to be correct. Of course, no one knows really. But the idea that we won't get prices down until 2027, I think there are a couple of important factors here, Maria. The first is this, that we are suffering from the last administration's literal war on cattle. If you remember, they wanted to reduce the herd sizes because they believed that cattle caused climate change. I mean, that wasn't that long ago that was sort of a common narrative. So lots and lots of issues there as we rebuild the herd based on the devastation of the last administration's policy.
In other news as well, CNBC is reporting that China, by the way, didn't we predict this 2 or 3 weeks ago, specifically as it relates to soybeans? I've always been talking about these trade deals that Donald Trump is talking about as all being fake, but China is slow walking U.S. soybean purchases as stockpiles hit multi-year highs, undermining Trump's trade deal claims. Trump said, China's told me they're going to start buying our soybeans from the soybean farmers in America after buying zero. Well, under Biden, China was buying 27 million metric tons of soybeans. This year, they bought zero. And Trump said, but they promised me they were going to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans. Isn't that great? Well, it's 15 million metric tons less than under former President Biden. And China's not even buying the 12 million metric tons. It's all another Donald Trump fraud, another Donald Trump Ponzi scheme, another Donald Trump lie. Oh, I like this meme right here by Ivan the K. Don't call it a recession, call it quiet time. And it's Donald Trump yelling at a little child mowing the White House lawn. Speaking of the White House lawn, when Donald Trump arrived last night at the White House, the White House flag was on the ground. Those flag poles that Donald Trump built, like those ridiculously high and eyesore flag poles. They couldn't even hold the flag. And it wasn't caused by Marine One. It just, the flag poles were defective and the flags were on the floor when Donald Trump arrived. Just think about that image, right? Doesn't that sum up everything? Donald Trump's broken flag poles. He's walking back after hiding in Mar-a-Lago with the release of those Epstein emails. And the flag is right there on the floor. The report is that Donald Trump blinks on Epstein files. Tomorrow there's going to be a vote in the House of Representatives to release the Epstein files. Now, Donald Trump says, I've actually support the release of the Epstein files now. He doesn't support the release of the Epstein files. He knows he's going to lose the vote and there's going to be massive defections. And so he wants to now claim that he supports the release of the Epstein files, even though he's been working not to support it. But what he says in his message is that, yes, the House oversight should get everything they're legally entitled to. And because Trump ordered the DOJ to investigate Democrats relating to Epstein, Trump's now going to claim, well, there's an ongoing investigation, so now we can't turn over the Epstein files. So the House is going to take its vote. And then what's going to happen after the House votes is the Senate may or may not even bring it to the floor. And then Trump's going to say, we can't turn over the documents because it is under investigation. So we'll wait for that thing to happen, but I'm just warning you that that's where this is headed. Oh, and then here's Donald Trump saying that the problem with the Democrats, they lie. They talk about affordability, but I'm the one that's getting prices down. I did it. The prices are way down right now. That's what Donald Trump said as he was heading back to Mar-a-Lago last night. Here, let's play this clip.
The prices are coming down. The Democrats like to use the word affordability, but their affordability was terrible. The problem with the Democrats, they lie. They do it so well. They talk about affordability, but I'm the one that's getting the prices down. As an example, they had the highest inflation in the history of our country. I have it down now to a normal level, and it's going down further. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right. But folks, Donald Trump's doing well. According to the latest Reuters report, Donald Trump bought at least $82 million in bonds since last August personally for himself, his disclosure. So Trump's doing great, everybody. I mean, American people are suffering, psychologically tortured, living paycheck to paycheck, but Trump's doing great, everybody. Personally, enriching himself at our expense. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.